month ago, I recorded myself listing out my top 100 songs I heard in 2024. I tried to convince myself that I was being too hard on myself in editing and that the list was fine. No, I did not like it. It was bad. My praise was repetitive, devoid of content, and below the standard of what I would want to release to the world. So I'm now re-recording it for the world to see with no improv, no bullshit, and a distinct lack of the words like, heartfelt, and awesome. Please hold me to that. I hope that, yeah. And now I'm improving, and now it's bad. 2024 was a monumental year for music. Every year is, but this past year was especially a roller coaster of gargantuan releases. Kendrick Lamar's lyrical gunfight with Drake resulted in a string of incredible releases that mars my list of standout tracks I heard this year. You'd expect these to primarily be the beef tracks, but personally, I felt that from the beginning of the summer all the way up to the first week of December, we had amazing releases that are made evident in the sheer number of songs from 2024 I have in this list compared to my 2023 list. Although I've changed my list criteria from last year, mostly freeing myself from the constraints of one song per album, the number of songs from the current year has risen from a mere 14 from 2023 to an astounding 40 from 2024, if you count the Spotify release of a certain song on this list as a track from current year. Every year, music speaks to me in some way, shape, or form, so I want to highlight all of it right now. Let's begin. Number 100. Let's start at number 100. At 100, we have King of Sweden by Future Islands. The chorus is the most important part of this song, but the enveloping build this song progresses through is fantastic. Number 91 is Glue Man by Fugazi. The intro is hypnotic and aggressive, captivating the listener immediately. There's also a whole other song to it that's pretty good. Number 98, Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division. I'm pretty sick of listening to this song and talking about it. Maybe the most overplayed song of the year for me. However, the bass line that this song is built around is truly an undeniably amazing piece of music. Number 97 is Magma by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. The warm and dire tone on the jam of Magma is a testament to King Gizzard's musical genius. Number 96, Seasons Waiting on You by Future Islands. Pining and Longing is the name of the game on Future Islands' biggest track. It's so simple and lovely that you'd have to be a very cruel human being to hate this song. Number 95 is Spinning by Shiner. Shiner's gargantuan riffs propel this song forward like a massive stone titan, leveling poor rural mountain-based communities under its cumbersome frame. Number 94, Nuclear Fusion by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. On the flip side, nuclear fusion is like wandering through a hazy desert where the sun hasn't shone for decades, and all you have with you is a hookah on your back and a horse that is only skin and bones. Relentlessly catchy and filled to the brim with microtonal mastery. Number 3 is Time Equals Money by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, one of the band's best written songs, lyrically questioning the common phrase, time is money, by asking, why don't I see any of that money? An existential dissertation wrapped up in a wonderfully sweet instrumental package. And number 92 is JPEG Ultra by JPEG Mafia featuring Denzel Curry. Experimental hip-hop's poster boys go to bat, trading bars over Peggy's most traditional sounding instrumental in a while. And number 91, we have Incinerate by Sonic Youth. Sonic Youth described the complex contrast of emotions unrequited love brings to the table on one of the band's most accessible hits. They were also mean to Nardwuar, so fuck Sonic Youth. On to the next! Number 90 is Forever by Alex G. A messy and warm comfort for fighting drug addiction makes Forever a powerful statement from Alex G. Number 89, The Static God by the OCs. The ridiculous sprint of an opening track sets the pace for the garage rock odyssey to come on Orc. Number 88, Reeling in the Years by Steely Dan. Bitter resentment mars Steely Dan's most angelic-sounding hit, whose guitar solo and harmonized chorus might make you forget how much they lay into someone who just may not have been interested in the lead singer. Number 87, Euphoria by Kendrick Lamar. The lyrical cross-wrist corkscrew that threw gasoline on the campfire that was the Drake feud of 2024 made for one of this year's most cathartic listens. And for 86, we got Kendrick Lamar again for Not Like Us. Taking a beef from the most tapped in to the mainstream was the goal of Not Like Us, and it succeeded with flying colors, mutilating and truly gutting Drake's most recent output. Drake is by no means done for, but with his recent string of court filings and how GNX and streaming numbers has surpassed not only Drake's diss tracks, but obliterated the numbers on his surprise EP 100 gigs, it's safe to say Kendrick handily won the beef with this song. At number 85, we have Hidden Place by Bjork. Sensual sci-fi beauty is the name of the game on the opener for Vespertine. Number 84 is Ice Station Zebra by Jack White. Ambition beyond belief, cramming every musical idea that Mr. White can into a 1-minute intro. It comes through with astounding success. And there's like a whole other 3-minute song after it, which is incredible. 83, Bucktooth by Lowertown. Seeing friends transform from childhood pals to radicalized adults is a real thing I have bore witness to, and it is what is expressed on Lowertown's 2022 single, Bucktooth, in simple yet effective detail. Number 82, I See Myself by Geese. NYC's Geese make a piercing plea for love on I See Myself with an instrumental that I can only describe as lovely and vocals that I can only describe as harboring a deep primal need for connection. Number 81, Saint Chroma by Tyler the Creator. Tyler proves that he will always be the movie director of the current hip-hop age, crafting a cinematic opening to the emotionally divisive narrative of chromacopia. Yeah. God, I look awful. I look scary. I look very scary. How does this change? Oh, there we go. Number 80, Loyalty by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. This is the interstellar prog rock journey of a lifetime. I love the intro to this song. Number 79 is YYZ by Rush. I'm gonna play a clip by Northern Lion where he goes. Yeah. 78, New Black History by JPEG Mafia. Another mind-melting collab from the king of experimental hip-hop, this time with Vince Staples, whose understated delivery carries this song to classic territory. Number 77, Lover, You Shoulda Come Over by Jeff Buckley. Taking his already lovesick musings to new extremes, Jeff Buckley's Lover, You Shoulda Come Over is an iconic statement that capstones Grace's artistic intention, which is for you to call your ex. You need to call your ex now. You need to call your ex. 76, Like That by Future, featuring Metro Boomin and Kendrick Lamar. The hip-hop beef of 2024 is an ever-evolving cultural mess that I am a little tired of discussing, but the first proper gunshot of Like That will live on in infamy while also serving as an incredible standalone collaboration between Future and Metro. 75, Asia by Steely Dan. A multi-phased magic carpet ride of new age jazz rock mysticism taints the title track of Steely Dan's Asia with majestic crimson red and dried up layers of spilt Corona light from a warm summer's day. Number 74, Hot Water by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. The catchy and ghostly story of the world boiling under hot water makes for an unexpected highlight on Mind Fuzz. 73, Sin Miedo by JPEG Mafia. If any word describes Sin Miedo, it's unbelievable. What was he thinking, and why did it turn out as one of JPEG Mafia's most ruthlessly catchy tracks to date that never seems to get enough of itself, forever building into a heavenly club rock banger? Number 72, From the Morning by Nick Drake. Pink Moon's closer is the feeling of a weary smile after witnessing the life you lived pass you by. Beautiful. And number 71, Von Dutch by Charlie XCX. Relishing in excess and rubbing it in the face of anyone who is just as petty as her at this moment is the ethos of Von Dutch, and I'm here for it. Number 70, Heart Part 6 by Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick's reclamation of the Heart Part 6 is a personal storytelling track that feels like a highlight reel of success rather than the usual emotional dissections of life that Mr. Lamar has been known for. Number 69, by Jeff Buckley, it's the song Mojo Pin. The immediate setting in of pining, longing, and emotional wrestling Mojo Pin inflicts on listeners is truly special. Number 68, Disintegration by The Cure. A dire plea for a love ending in betrayal is expressed not only through the band's intense instrumental depth, but Robert Smith's most dramatic vocal performance to date. At number 67, we have 365 by Charlie XCX. The bookend of Brat is a thorough dissection of the fact that Charlie likes to snort coke, immediately following the song where she debates retirement and motherhood. And I'm all for it. Number 66, Float On by Modest Mouse. The relentless blind optimism of Float On is something I aspire to have within my life. Thank God core people on Instagram haven't gotten to this song. Thank God. If I see more core post this song on one of their reels, I'm gonna take this off the list. Number 65, 4D Country by Geese. Geese's extended jam version of 3D Country turns a hike into what feels like an odyssey journeying through the Badlands of the West. Number 64, Inner City Blues by Marvin Gaye. The grim funk tone of this song is such a switch from the major key that What's Going On is stationed in that it feels like the most modern song on the album. Number 63, Either On or Off the Drugs by JPEG Mafia. Peggy proves once again he is ahead of the curve by making the only ethical use of AI in music I have witnessed these past few years. The reclamation of a future AI cover and recounting his career over it is one of the best things Peggy has done, maybe ever, but all year. 62, Luther by Kendrick and SZA. The chemistry between these two is so undeniable. I am baffled I disliked this song on first listen. I'm a fucking idiot. And number 61, Mask by Chat Pile. The kings of modern sludge metal come through with a surprisingly emotional take on toxic masculinity without compromising their grim and brutal sound. Okay. Number 60, Hot to Go by Chapel Roan. The sheer joy this song provides for me is what all pop music should strive for. It is criminal that we all passed this album over in 2023, and I am part of that we. I passed this album over, and I'm a fucking idiot. Number 59, TV Off by Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick and Mustard team up for a second time this year for a banger that will surely level the Super Bowl stadium when performed. Number 58, Moon Sequel by Mount Eerie. The sequel to my favorite song of all time is a bitter reframing of where Phil is in his life, over a decade after the presumed love of his life left him following the events of the moon. Number 57, Place to Be by Nick Drake. A man in his 20s should not be sounding like this, recounting his glory days, especially when the history of Nick Drake is as tragic as it is. Number 56, not Hot to Go, we already did Hot to Go. It's A Punk by Vampire Weekend. Maybe behind Hot to Go for the most fun song I've heard this year. A Punk is so infectiously catchy, you need to be a real heartless son of a bitch to hate this track. Fuck you. Number 55, Guerrilla Radio. This is another song I've grown a little tired of. However, Guerrilla Radio is much more tolerable for me than Love Will Tear Us Apart. The whole band is fired up, especially leading to the climax, where Tom Morello delivers a truly fantastic guitar solo. Number 54, Tropical Beaches Incorporated by Chat Pile. Middle-aged capitalist nightmare. All I imagine are strip malls and beer bellies as Raygun Bosch screams his lungs out over one of the band's most intense instrumentals. Number 53 is Trapdoor, live in Chicago 2023 by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. The live version of Trapdoor turns the quirky folk punk bop into an intense virtuistic jam session, culminating in an outro that blows the original out of the water. Number 52 is Shed by Title Fight. It's hard to describe how Title Fight knows exactly what they are doing, but listening to the title track for Shed is like watching a masterclass on how to write a hard, catchy, and anthemic track that you will remember forever. And at 51, we have Carry Me Ohio by Sunkill Moon. Carry Me Ohio conjures a beautiful melancholy that Mark Kozelek is effortlessly fantastic at creating, in spite of him being a real piece of shit. Fuck you, Mark Kozelek. Extended middle finger. Yeah. We don't like abusers in this house. No, sir. No, sir. Number 50, The Calm That Keeps You Awake by Knocked Loose. Every moment of controlled chaos is immediately followed by the band losing their mind, eventually ending in a breakdown that feels like being thrown into the middle of the ocean and having to learn how to swim as icy water throws you down into the depths. 49, Cancer of the Skull by Cameron Winter. Cameron Winter is about the same age as me, but Cancer of the Skull lyrically feels like it came from a man who wrote poems during his lunch breaks at the construction site during the age of Bob Dylan. Number 48, Just Like Heaven by The Cure. A heartbreaking yet poppy hit from The Cure. It's a real those who know kind of track, with how effortlessly they slip the death of a loved one into such a majestic sounding track. Number 47, Good Luck Babe by Chapel Roan. Another heartbreaking yet poppy hit, this time from Chapel Roan. The message is a little bit harder to avoid this time since Miss Roan's vocals explode with emotion at the song's climax. And number 46 is Safe in Your Skin / Where Am I by Title Fight. I debated combining these two songs into one for a while, and I finally caved as I started breaking rules I set in the beginning of the year. Safe in Your Skin is a slow, immersive, emotionally threadbare track of longing that transitions perfectly into Where Am I, an inner debate on the chaotic life of a musician that, in spite of the challenges, it's somehow worth it in the end. Number 45, Walk Up by Jordy Greep. If you want a punchy indictment of horny stock traders, here's your song. Number 44, Love Song by The Cure. Haunting and forlorn prayers for love make up this aptly named highlight from The Cure. Brother, that's like a fucking Jeopardy question. Let me write for Jeopardy, honestly. 43, Mercy, Mercy Me, The Ecology by Marvin Gaye. A wistful grasp to bring back the planet we know and love to a healthy state makes this song a gripping experience even to this day. Number 42, Scenario by A Tribe Called Quest. Jazz rap mastery with a posse cut for the ages that is capped off by an electrifying verse from Busta Rhymes, ends the low-end theory in flames. And 41, Mahash Mashana by Father John Misty. I've been a Father John Misty skeptic for a while, but the 9-minute epic that opens his most recent album has won me over with its sheer grandiosity and vocal brilliance. That's the 10 songs. That now we go into the next 10 songs. Number 40, we have Nausicaa by Cameron Winter. The desperate cries for the woman's oven. Number 40, we have Nausicaa by Cameron Winter. The desperate cries for the woman of his dreams covers Nausicaa with warm wails and deceptively messy instrumentals. Number 39, Teenage Riot by Sonic Youth. A romping noise rock rebellion that truly deserves the moniker of a riot. Number 38, Blues by Jordy Greep. The introductory portrait of Greep's character for the new sound is a twisting and turning madhouse that casts its main character to the depths of hell for his actions. Number 37, Bullet in the Head by Rage Against the Machine. A bullet point examination of media manipulation that goes from a funky classroom lecture to a roundhouse kick throwing mash pit. A bullet point examination of media manipulation that goes from a funky classroom lecture to a roundhouse kick throwing mosh pit in a matter of seconds. Number 36, Ta-Ra by Jordy Greep. Maybe the most melodramatic display of loneliness I have ever heard, sung by a human being, over a fantastically tropical jazz instrumental. Number 35, Death and Romance by Magdalena Bay. Euphoric pining and longing makes up a statement from Mag Bay that I feel makes the case for one of the group's best tracks to date. Number 34, Testify by Rage Against the Machine. I saw a review on Album of the Year that said the intro to Down Rodeo had a shoegaze-esque intro. It does not have a shoegaze-esque intro. Testify has a shoegaze intro. Tom Morello's guitar shifts from a hectic storm of distortion to a howitzer leveling government buildings for the chorus's gargantuan driving riff. Number 33, As by Stevie Wonder. The incredibly lovely 8-minute profession of love from Stevie would secure that I marry this man. If he were to write it about me. He hasn't. But whatever. Number 32, Waiting Room by Fugazi. Funky punk goodness. One of the best songs of rebellion in more ways than one. A rebellion against government systems of oppression lyrically, but also against violent punks who use mosh pits as an excuse to beat up innocent people. The mix of intense danceable grooves outside of the standard two-step formula while remaining powerful in its own way makes the song one of Fugazi's best. Number 31, Stay Home, American Football. Who said emo needs to make you cry from its lyrics? American Football kills right from the get-go with an intro that sets an emotionally weary tone and continues for its whole runtime. We're gonna go to the number 30 spot. Alright, let's try this a second time. At number 30, we have 27 by Title Fight. Anthemic is how I describe a lot of Title Fight's music, and 27 is no exception. A devastating tribute to the singer's father, and the insecurities that come along with his passing, makes the song catchy yet emotionally taxing beyond belief. Number 29, People of the Sun by Rage Against the Machine. Zach's reminder of South American heritage and the exploitation of the mighty Mayans and Aztecs of old is a vigorous call to action for the minorities of the South. From verse to verse, Zach comes through with his most visceral songwriting to date and one of the strongest leads into the chorus in any Rage song. That vulture came to steal your name, but now you found a gun. Your history. This is for the people of the sun. Number 28, we have Reincarnated by Kendrick Lamar. A sun-bleached West Coast story of warning on the dangers of the music industry and how Kendrick is subject to those same dangers. Every line is a new weave in the tapestry that is Reincarnated, and its ending is up there with the finale of Duckworth. At number 27, we have Stars by Hum. Hum's brand of emo-adjacent post-hardcore with space rock lyrical concepts makes the hit that is Stars an impossibly powerful song. Surreal concepts like Trains to Mars feel grounded when placed next to this emotionally painful relationship the singer is stuck in. This song feels like the last weeks of a doomed couple, attempting to find something that justifies their love, or to have an epiphany that saves it all, but truly the communication is not there. To cap it all off, the instrumental is so effortlessly perfect. The band knows exactly when to lean into powerful guitar chugs, or to pull back and let the vocalist Andy Switsky do his thing, or for the guitars to soar and pierce the high end of the soundscape. And at number 26, we have Don't Reach For Me by Knocked Loose. Right off the bat, the band throws the listener into the Black Sea with guitar slides that pull you dozens of feet below the surface. Brian's vocals are as animalistic as ever, calling out religious zealots who not only have corrupted the politics of America, but most likely the hometown where the band is from. At number 25, we have a terrifying song. Wait, some of you are going to kill me. Some of you are going to kill me for putting this song here. At number 25, Meet the Grams by Kendrick Lamar. The terrifying ransom letter of a diss track against Drake that truly sealed the fate of the beef for both sides comes in rounding out the final quarter of the list. My main reservations with this song come from how certain lines have aged, like the verse to the mystery daughter of Drake, and especially the line, I don't have a hating bone in my body. Yes, you do, Kendrick. Yes, you do. But nonetheless, the impact this song had on it making contact with the public was like a meteor wiping out the dinosaurs. A song that not only represents one of the biggest musical moments of the decade so far, but Kendrick's dominance over the world of hip-hop. Okay, number 24. Love Takes Miles by Cameron Winter. A tender journey for love describes the wonderful sentiments of Cameron's big hit from heavy metal. The dozens of layers working together on this song reminds me of a warmer version of the Glow Part 2's instrumentation. The flow from verse to verse is magical, especially at the conclusion with the repeated mantra of, you better start walking, love takes miles. Magic. 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 The weirdest thing is, like, seeing in, like, you don't get detail, but the fact, like, you can like, this is the thing you can see. You can see this. I don't like that. Let's make it worse. Number 23. Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine. Rage's simple and effective blast against police violence takes up this spot. What it lacks in eloquently ferocious verses and multi-phase song structures, it makes up for in raw energy and a masterful flow from part to part. I do want to mention that my friend's band allowed me to cover this song with them at my college's end-of-year block party thing called Kendall Day because I went to Ithaca College. That's where I fucking went to college. I don't know why I wanted to hide that. Whatever. You know everything about me. Number 22, Through a War by Jordy Greep. A suave, danceable admission of war crimes makes Through a War one of the biggest highlights from the new sound. It has become one of the most rewarding re-listens for me, continuing to peel back the layers of Greep's spoiled brat of a general who falls for a woman whose village he's just leveled. On an instrumental level as well, this song is a warm, danceable romp that will hopefully have couples tangoing together at shows, rather than the violent pits incited by songs like 953. We have number 21, Cry For Me by Magdalena Bay. The tear-jerking disco odyssey that begins the ending of Mag Bay's sophomore album is the song that grew on me the most this year. Heart-wrenching lyrics and a virtuosic vocal performance from Mika sends this song way above many of the other moments on Imaginal Disc. Yay. Number 20 is Wake Up by Rage Against the Machine. The calling out of government agencies intervening with MLK and Malcolm X makes up the need for public anger expressed on Wake Up. This was my favorite track by Rage for a while, but it has given way to tracks that I feel stand up better upon repeat listens. However, Zach's peppy delivery on the verses and his throat-shredding screams at the end make this song a shining example of the band's power. Number 19 is Drinking Age by Cameron Winter. Cameron's reflection on early alcohol use is the most sobering moment on his new record. It's a harrowing piano ballad that truly expresses the range of emotions that Cameron is capable of. Mr. Winter's voice dips into a raspy, ancient tone that, much like Cancer of the Skull, feels like it comes from a man double or even triple his age. Number 18 is Suffocate by Knocked Loose featuring Poppy. The little metalcore hit that could blows my mind as to how it became the band's most successful recent hit. The collaboration with Poppy definitely gave it some cross-genre appeal, but the beginning's wild switch-ups makes this song difficult to get into from a general audience perspective. That being said, the shifts are plentiful yet never feel too hyperactive, and when the song reaches the moment you've been waiting for, you're primed for the breakdown of your life. The iconic reggaeton breakdown is what made me get into Knocked Loose, and I hope it fascinates you as much as it did for me to check out the band. Number 17, we have Head in the Ceiling Fan by Title Fight. A song that inspired the new generation of Zoomer gays that truly earns the genre label. Compared to Title Fight's usual quick and dynamic control of tempo and rhythm, Head in the Ceiling Fan is a patient, slow, and lumbering beast. The pummeling layers of squealing guitars form an emotionally devastating earworm that defines what Title Fight will be remembered for. And number 16 is Down Rodeo by Rage Against the Machine. No matter how many times I listen to Evil Empire, Down Rodeo smacks me in the face with an intro that completely blindsides me. This song is a hate-filled indictment of the wealthy class of LA, and the glistening yet fiery guitar that kicks off this track is unlike anything Rage has done prior. Number 15, Freedom by Rage Against the Machine. Rage takes their songwriting to a new level on the climax of their debut album. Tension-filled verses, fiery choruses, and a finale that will blow you away makes Freedom a contender for one of Rage's best songs. At number 14, we have number 19 by Aphex Twin, otherwise known as Stone and Focus. This is my favorite ambient track of all time, and it's finally on streaming services. Yay! Number 19 is fascinating in its cosmic scale, feeling palpable and soothing. The tone of the synth being used feels like watching tsunamis touching down miles away, or a massive supernova light years from the ISS. However, the minuscule metronome grounds this track in reality. This song is what allows me to write emails, because I feel like I'm in a blank room, and nothing is distracting me whenever this song is playing. It's incredible. Number 13, As If Waltz by Jordy Griep. This is the most desperate track from the new sound. Shame and intense longing come to a head as his character is choked by his love for a prostitute he debates if he even likes or not. While Griep is emotionally wrestling, the instrumental cycles from moody jazz rock to a loyal adaptation of a classical waltz, eventually concluding with a guitar solo that says more in its minute and a half than some albums do in their whole runtime. At number 12, we have Blinding Faith by Knocked Loose. Knocked Loose's lead single for 2024 happens to be one of the most intense statements the band has released upon the world up until this point. While taking shots at blind faith and religious fundamentalism, the band pummels the listener with passages that don't allow for any breaks, any reprieve, and most certainly any room to stand on the sides of the pit because you're getting pulled into the chaos. The song features back-to-back breakdowns at the very end, one featuring an insane triple call-out, and the second almost trying to punish the listener for even giving this song a chance by having a guitar tone that borders on harsh noise. Truly mind-blowing. And finally, before we get to the top 10, number 11, Melodic by Godspeed You, Black Emperor. A true rival to Static for the helm of Godspeed You's most intense track to date, the mental image the band conjures as it patiently builds up to the grim and rhythmically ferocious midpoint is pure magic, and just another shining example of the band's insane songwriting talent. As it enters the 9-minute mark, the guitars break free into this Middle Eastern-inspired riff that drives the track into total lunacy. Melodic seems to calm as the strikes become more predictable and calculated, but the intensity brought forth by this song is visceral and demands your attention. Top 10! Sadness as a gift and still feel too heavy to hold. Number 10, Sadness as a Gift, Adrian Lenker. Sorry, I got a little fucking lost in that. The legendary indie songwriter from Big Thief has an innate ability to make songs that crumble hearts like Play-Doh. The sweetly melancholic instrumental on Sadness as a Gift truly turns lingering heartbreak into a present that makes me happy that I can feel such a profound emotion. A complicated ballad for keeping distance, whose release could not have been timed better in my life. Adrian's delicate yet seasoned voice makes lines like, "That old man beats his crooked cane, it's time to let go," impactful while holding on to this timeless Americana image that separates this from a trendy Gen Z situationship ballad. One of the greatest songs of the fucking year. So good. Number 9, Deep in the Willow by Knocked Loose. Bitterness, anger, and justified revenge are what Knocked Loose is all about, and that's no different on Deep in the Willow. So why is it so high on the list? Well, for starters, instrumentally, Knocked Loose delivers their brand of technical metalcore in a decisively powerful manner on this track. The guitars are not like the nuclear reactors they transform into on their 2024 LP, but the chugs along with the drums feel like craters being blown into the surface of the moon. Vocally, Brian perfectly shifts from his high-pitched rants to anthemic chants, basically calling for the head of the target of this song. Finally, the climax of this song is possibly the band's career highlight. The call-out of, "Knock loose, motherfucker!" On paper is corny. In practice, it is a decisively explosive moment that kicks off the most extravagantly violent mosh pit you'll see in your whole life. Great song. At number 8, we have Babies in a Thundercloud by Godspeed You, Black Emperor. Although the Godspeed we know and love is present on this song, there's no proper cry out for hope, nor a boisterous rebellion. Babies in a Thundercloud is a fascinating, divine, yet cold comfort. The album draws inspiration and attempts to inject their own inspiration for change for the people suffering in Gaza. The guitars are spacey, covering what feels like a vast stretch of desert. The drums are oddly jazzy, keeping alive a pocket that doesn't feel like it should exist. If any song has inspired me to hop behind the drum kit this year, it is most definitely this one. Number 7, we have the song Holy Holy by Jordy Griep. A critique I saw thrown around regarding Holy Holy is that it is a long handful of a song, and I would agree that there is a lot going on. However, it never felt like a horrifically long song for me. For its 6-minute time investment, I would very often find the time flying by due to its incredibly catchy jazz rock instrumental, incredible vocal performance from Griep, and impeccable transitions from part to part, making this pastiche of the proto-incel palatable, powerful, and catchy. The storytelling is theatrical in all the right ways, boosting up Griep in the first half and effectively cutting him down in the second, so much so that it somehow sows a level of sympathy. I do not believe the actions of Griep's character in this song are justifiable, but they serve as a warning sign. I find that it allows the listener to find the crippling loneliness inside themselves, identify it, accept it, and grow out of it. The sleazebag on Holy Holy feels more like 3 kids in a trench coat rather than the unrealistic macho man that the most lost of our generation feel like they need to be. Him asking if the woman he is paying is alright with putting her hand on his knee is one of the most heartbreaking moments I have heard in a song this year, and I think it warrants a more thorough analysis of this song than simply saying it's a banger where the incel gets what he deserves. 10 out of 10, this song is incredible. It's a fucking masterpiece, alright? At number 6, we have the song $0 by Cameron Winter. The frontman of Geese comes through with a profoundly powerful and surreal piano-led track that connects on a level few songs do, with as few words as possible. Its ambiance is supremely powerful. The piano part, alongside the several vocal and instrumental layers that follow the stripped-back intro, submerges the listener into the messy mastery of $0. The repetition of "you're making me feel like a dollar in your hand," "you're making me feel like a $0 man," is such a deeply powerful pair of statements that I feel on an individual level. This might be a stretch, but the intertwining of emotional and financial value with a human being's worth speaks to people's misuse of others. And in a world driven by money, if you tell a finance bro that they make you feel like you're $0, that might punch a hole in their heart. It bridges an emotional gap that truly exists, and as clunky as the phrase $0 man is, I cannot deny its importance. It truly is a fascinating piece of art that culminates in Cameron deciding that God is in fact real. The way the vocals all lead to this moment is truly masterful, with Cameron then breaking down as if he is an AI trained on Instagram comment sections, attempting to express a feeling of divine euphoria. I wish this song and album got more recognition, but it's Cameron's fault. He should have released this album earlier. That's my 2 cents. Incredible album. Listen to heavy metal. Number 5, God Knows by Knocked Loose, a devastating and frightening depiction of the afterlife, where Brian depicts a character who, instead of gracefully being welcomed into the pearly gates, is sent to the gray stone-like nothingness of purgatory. He watches from beyond the grave as his body is cremated, surrounded by loved ones, the ceremony he knows he doesn't deserve, due to a mortal sin he refuses to tell the listener, due to it being too grave even for him. The instrumental pairs terrifyingly well, starting with a blindingly fast pocket, plunging the listener into a hellish nightmare of divine fear. The song then morphs from technical metalcore mastery to simple explosive chugs, as Brian realizes his punishment is to be left all alone, and that only he and God knows why he deserves his punishment. Although Knocked Loose made significant leaps and bounds in their career this year, God Knows stands above it all as the band's terrifying magnum opus. Anyways, Bulls on Parade. One of the greatest hit songs of all time turned out to be my most listened to song of 2024. And for good reason. Bulls on Parade is much more than just a catchy, stadium-destroying riff that kicks off the song. It's an addictive display of all that Rage has to offer within their music. A rebellious attitude on real, palpable issues that's beyond an aesthetic. It's a true revolution. Although Killing in the Name was the song most co-opted by alt-right dipshits, Bulls on Parade calls out those people, literally saying, "Don't call this a co-op." It proceeds to bash the military industry, and it's leeching off of what truly helps the people. Iconic lyrical gems include the chorus, "Rally round the family with a pocket full of shells," and the entirety of the second verse with highlights like, "I walk the corner to the rubble that used to be a library, line up to the mine cemetery now, and they don't gotta burn the books, they just remove them." That last line is particularly painful in our current information age, where most of what we consume is digital and in the hands of corporations. More benign cases of this can be with Netflix removing of beloved sitcoms, to decisions with more morbid implications like with the recent case against the Internet Archive being struck down by book publishers. It's a continuously relevant, powerful, and catchy track from one of the best bands to ever do it. At number 3, we have The Magician by Jordy Griep. The penultimate track of Griep's The New Sound is the most honest depiction of a person's life from anything surrounding the Black Midi canon. Dispelling the litany of comedic and tragic womanizers that Jordy portrays in the album, he expresses his fears, regrets, and objects of obsession that have informed his writing process on this project, and most likely everything on Hellfire as well. It's a deeply emotional and cathartic experience that feels unlike anything Griep had done up until this point, and it's a rare song that I feel had to be made. If Black Midi had to die for The Magician to be released, then so be it, because it is a marvel of post-rock theatrical songwriting that I continue to go back to. I've been debating with my friends about if the new sound was truly necessary, and I find it baffling that one could enjoy Black Midi but hate the new sound. I think it can represent an ugly truth that the band was doomed, but if it means that we got a fantastic album from an artist who I hope has more in the tank, then I'm fine with it. Hell, I'm more than fine with it. The New Sound is one of the best albums of 2024. It acts as a proper successor to Black Midi's prior work, and it's delivered several of the best songs of the year, and depending on how it ages, the decade. Fuck you. Fuck you all who hate this album. Two of them. Ah! Okay. At number 2, we have Blaze Bailey Finnegan III, A Portrait of a Radicalized Man. Bah! Okay. A portrait of a radicalized man, most likely libertarian, who in the midst of rambling about speeding tickets, his arsenal of firearms, and his thoughts on open mics, delivers a message of warning and fear regarding the future of the USA. It's surreal hearing a man shiver thinking about the terrors of 2023, when I am now nearly a quarter century removed from that year, experiencing those terrors myself. Blaze Bailey Finnegan III is definitely a troubled man and someone who I would not want to be locked in a conversation with at a bar, but his message of standing up against an unjust government is important, powerful, and made all the more grand with the backing of a legendary band like Godspeed. The band really takes their time getting to the instrumental point of this song, but after the second long interview clip from Finnegan, the song returns with such a catastrophic explosion of fury that it tears the song asunder. I really feel the need to point out the drums, slowly morphing from a marching band-esque snare pattern to a brisk sprinting rhythm as the song continues to morph and contort in its final moments. The last few minutes are taken up by an eerie instrumental outro that feels like a transition point into the band's following album, into the band's following album, Lift Your Skinny Fists. And I feel that is incredibly important and significant. Yeah. It's a great song. It's a really great song. All these are great songs, obviously. Fucking obviously. Okay, this is me from the future. I'm going to go through a bunch of honorable mentions before we get to number 1. So it's going to go from increasing, like, actually having things to say to me just throwing shit at the wall. So let's start. First, song Understart by Little Slicer. I'm biased since I'm good friends with the frontman and several members of the band, but this track is truly such a sweet shot of quaint indie goodness. The storytelling of this track is quietly tragic, and its simple riff is built on perfectly as the song trudges along like the simple monotony life truly offers. It fucking froze! It fucking froze! Okay, another song is the song, of course there's another song. I Was Broke by Big Baller B. Comedy rap is filled to the brim with people trying too hard to be funny, but Brad most likely made this song and 7-minute EP it's a part of in an afternoon, yet I continue to return to this objectively terrible project. If I were to define any comedy rap as experimental, this song and the project genre Brad Boy as a whole serves to make that experiment a reality. I also wish Brad tastes the music the best going into 2025. He had a rough year, and I pray he makes a great return because he's a beloved piece of the internet music reaction scene. Actually, though, I do really hope Brad is doing well. Yeah, that's what I'll say. Invincible by Tool. I finally finished their discography in 2024, and although Fear Inoculum was by far their worst project, Invincible did stand out. The build they reach, it's a true fucking thing. It's awesome. I love Maynard's reflections on his age. They're mature, but also self-serving. They're also a bit hypocritical if you have listened to the song 10,000 Days, how much he says that other people are like, oh, we do so much, but Mother, you actually did a lot. And then he's like, I'm a warrior. Fuck you. Yeah, also the main reservation, the biggest issue is that after the build, it just fades away. It's just like, it doesn't go anywhere else, which sucks. But yeah. Next one, The Lord of Lightning by King Gizzard. I have so many King Gizzard songs on this list. Lord is an incredible song, but I don't love it as much as I thought I did. I think they have better garage rock tracks, and I think if I'm looking for a better track that does what it does, it's Altered Beast. But Altered Beast is a whole, like, 9-track epic. I mean, the whole project of Murder Universe is 3 larger, like, EPs, basically. And although I can maybe make an exception for a song that transitions into another song pretty seamlessly, I don't know about basically a 9-song EP counting as one song. Anyways, good rapid fire. I'm Trying to Break Your Heart by Wilco. I mostly overplayed this song, but the song is great. Down by 311. This is also overplayed, but it's mostly because the chorus is very good. Everything else is, like, kind of I don't know, the guitar tone is kind of ridiculous. Providence by Godspeed You. Also due to overabundance of Godspeed, but also I feel like the song's highlights are drowned out by how just slow it is, how much ambience is taken up, which could be your thing. But the problem is Godspeed is usually going in a direction. This is a problem I have with F-sharp, A-sharp, Sharp Infinity. It just very much is directionless at times. You're not like being guided somewhere while you are guided on the newest Godspeed You project, as well as just many of their other best projects. Loving Me, this song's overplayed for me. And also the lyrics are a bit icky. I don't love the lead singer. I don't know, just very bitter towards this person. For what? I don't know. I'm kind of different to those songs, but I guess I feel like there's more to those, or at least instrumental. I like the loop that goes on in Loving Machine. I don't know, it doesn't feel much. Don's Army Hammer. It's really incredible, but I found myself having difficulty sticking with the song by rotation. What it did do, however, is it had me revisit the 2023 LP, which I feel like I have a new appreciation for, with this song serving as the pseudo outro. Counting Worms by Not Loose. It's iconic, but is very one note. It's basically one big breakdown. There are two breakdowns in the song, but it's, I think, not just better highlights that you should have seen on this list. Dog Food by Micros mostly. Also another band I know personally. This is a very fun song. It got simply effective. That's kind of Micros' whole shtick, and Dog Food displays that perfectly. I saw you messaging it's crazy for listen, but I think I might go I don't know. I didn't say this much. This song actually probably next to you, or something from this project. I might dig into your work more. I also put Apple. It's a lot of stuff about it. It's just like a just it's pretty good. That's rad. Like, I'm trying to like use all this stuff behind this so great, and you know the songs they have to get behind their lyrics and just like it's mostly chorus pulls this whole song up to the level actually. Challenge next point. Getting track behind there's low intensity. That's where I it's great. It's mostly chorus me, but it's great. I'll take it my bands also. Number 1, we have Raindrops Cast in Lead by Godspeed You Black Emperor. If any song were to truly highlight the dire straits of 2024 and the new upcoming perils of 2025, it would be this song. Obviously, the track points a laser-focused spotlight on the humanitarian crisis of our lifetime, the blatant genocide in Gaza, and what Godspeed offers is all that the band can offer: hope and inspiration. Raindrops Cast in Lead is such a potent jolt and catharsis of all the political dissonance experienced this year. The song's tranquil intro is like waking up on a beautiful summer's day with mourning doves cooing and blessing the sun's rising. It's soon dashed by a triumphant guitar that ripples across the soundscape, leveling the world you once knew. I still cannot make up my mind on if this riff is supposed to be a celebratory rallying call or if it's a propagandized retelling of a violent military campaign. For me, the title suggests the latter, since it's named after a real operation performed by Israel, but I feel the call for action doesn't come until the song's second half. The calm after the storm feels like an intermission, while also expressing the quality of a funeral march. It takes me back to their song Storm, where they draw inspiration from Amazing Grace after its extravagant intro. This segment is even backed by a Spanish vocal sample, which recites a prayer for the innocent lost in these senseless attacks, which gives way to the finale of the song, which is truly the reason this song made it to number 1. The vengeful return the band comes back with is the most crystal clear distillation of what Godspeed can do to inspire some level of hope in times of true despair. A singular riff that catapults into the stratosphere with guitars that are like creatures beyond human comprehension, grounded by a string section that reminds you there is still an instrumental build on the ground level. The last minute is truly awe-inspiring. It leaves me breathless by the end of the band's 13-minute odyssey. And that's the song. That's number 1. You should listen to it.